That's right. I'm wearing my Jets jersey. You know why? Because they're the best team in the league. So I hit a 5-team parlay this weekend, and if you followed me on Twitter, you would have got the two big ones, which was the Steelers and the Jets to cover. Now, you could have picked them straight up. I didn't have them that much, balls. No. But I called it.
Did call it.
And today we're going to go over some of the power rankings, but specifically, not all the people, the best of the worst and the worst of the best. Because a lot of people go power rankings a lot of different ways, a lot of statistics, and then bye weeks come in and it makes everything weird because this team had less yards, so they're a higher defensive rank, but they're not really at higher defensive rank. They just played less games. So we're going to specifically alienate the top and the bottom end of the board, and we're going to talk about why these people are up here and that they probably shouldn't be, or vice versa. Now, I also do keep track of stats and analytics on our Discord. If you join our Discord, then guess what? You're going to have access to all the stuff in live time. I update it regularly. You can see on there when I update it and then take a peek. But let's start with you, Al.
Yep.
Who is the best team in the league that is the worst rank? Who's just playing bad?
Oh, that's playing bad?
Just playing bad.
Playing bad.
They deserve to be good, but they're just not.
Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens.
They should be better than what they are. They are performing well under what they should. I mean, they lost to the Dolphins. They lost to the Bills. They lost to the Giants. Decent teams, but those are teams that they should be able to beat. They beat the Jets. They beat the Patriots. They beat the Bengals. That's not really anything special to talk about.
No, it's not. And it's very curious you brought that up because I actually didn't have them. Now, I have the Ravens at 18 in the power rankings. And you're right. They did beat the Patriots. They did beat the Jets. I have both of them ranked higher than them. And I think it's the quality of wins.
I do too.
It's the quality of wins, and it's the way they're playing the game. It makes you feel like they're not a good team.
Yeah.
But statistically, they're the 11th best offense and the 15th best defense. That's pretty solid.
That is. Making mistakes on offense, though, doesn't really help. Especially when that Giants game, Lamar Jackson throws an interception at the end of the game. They could have went down the field, scored, took the lead. They didn't. They lost.
Yeah, so the Ravens have the Browns. They have the Buccaneers, the Saints, the Panthers, the Jaguars, the Broncos, the Steelers, the Browns again, and the Falcons. And I think they could eat. I don't know if they can beat the Falcons. I think the Falcons are a good team. I don't think they can, we'll talk about the Broncos, but they could definitely beat a lot of these teams. Just real quick math, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in my book. I think they can win 9 more games. That puts them at a pretty good standing. So I'm going to keep my eye on them, moving them up this board. All right, I got one for you. And I think it pretty much showed everything it needed to show this weekend, and that's the Arizona Cardinals. I think the Arizona Cardinals are way better than they're showing the world. I think they can start to gel and maybe move back up this board. But right now, I have them under the Ravens, where I have them at 20.
Yeah, I got the Cardinals down at 20 on my list. They're underperforming a lot right now. They do get Hopkins back this coming week, so that's a spark to the offense. Hopefully they get. But you have Marquise Brown, who went down in that game. He's probably going to miss some time, so they lose one receiver. They get another. They need to do more defensively and on that line.
And then some notable quick hitters I have are the Steelers and the Colts. I think the Steelers are really good and then really bad, and they're so inconsistent. I don't know where to rank them. I have them down at 23, but they have the roster to be a good team. They really just need to find a good quarterback. And as for the Colts are solid across the board, but they're not consistent either. Sometimes they run the ball.
They're starting
really
to come
well.
on strong. This was a nice showing by Matt Ryan this week to show that he can actually move the ball down the field.
Yeah, so those are some notables.
Yeah, I think one team that's low, that's kind of underperforming, is the Vegas Raiders. I think they should be doing quite a bit better than what they are now, especially with the roster that they have, the offensive power that they have. I mean, they beat Denver, but that's nothing special. They lost to Arizona, Tennessee, Chargers, and Kansas City. I mean, a couple good teams and a couple bad teams.
Yeah, and lastly, I'm going to take a note out of your book with the Detroit Lions. I think the Detroit Lions are better than 1-4. I didn't think they were a great team. However, watching them play against the Eagles, the Vikings, the Seahawks, and the Patriots, right? Those are good teams. So those are pretty high quality losses. I think the Lions could very well bounce up into that wild card hunt range if they get, just on schedule alone. I don't think they have to do anything different. But let's switch hats here. What are these teams at the top that don't deserve to be there?
Well, I got one. I don't necessarily think they don't deserve to be here, but I think of all the top tier teams, I think the Giants are the worst of those teams. Now, they have played Tennessee, Carolina, Chicago, Green Bay, Baltimore. They beat all those teams, but I don't have any of those teams in the top 10. So they lost to Dallas, which is the only team in the top 10 they played, in my opinion, and they lost that game. So yes, they are 5-1, but they haven't quite played the competition that the other teams have, like the Bills, the Chiefs, the Vikings. And yeah, the Chiefs lost twice, but they're playing a harder schedule, in my opinion. But you look at the schedule for the Giants going down the field, and they play Seahawks, Texans, Cowboys, Lions, Commanders, Eagles, Vikings, Colts. I mean, they got a schedule that can get them into the playoffs kind of easily if they just maintain what they're doing.
Yeah, the Giants made me look really good because I said before the season started the Giants were a good team. They're not this good of a team.
No.
They're better than what people thought they were, which was like a 2 to 3 win team.
Yeah.
I was saying their potential was 8 to 9 wins, and everybody they're not 5-1.
No.
However, I will say, at 22 as their offensive rank and 27 as their defensive rank, statistically they don't deserve to be here.
But they're not shooting themselves in the foot, which is helping them out a lot.
They're playing very sound football and they're finding ways to win, and that to me is a good team. Are they a top 5 team? Because I have them at 6.
I have them at 6 too.
And they're 5-1 at 6. It's kind of just because I don't know if they're really a top 5 team.
Yeah.
If they continue the way they're playing, I'm very quickly going to put them up in top 3 territory because that's what their rank is. They've played some solid teams.
Yeah.
I just need to see it. I got one. This is a team that is ranked somewhat high that shouldn't be. That's starting to get some buzz around the league.
Ooh.
It's my New York Jets.
Oh, yeah.
My New York Jets don't deserve to be up there. They don't. They played some tough teams. They've won against some tough teams. They're the last ranked offense. Now, in this day and age, you need an offense to win games. Now, I get it. Their special teams is killing it. They're scoring on special teams more than their offense.
Guys, defensive line is killing it.
I feel like it's Iowa, and we like our punter is our main guy. Right? Their defense is elite with the sacks and the rushes and the forced fumbles and the picks, and Sauce is playing out of his mind. And Quinn and Willie, they don't deserve to be there. As much as a Jet fan as I am, the Jets are lucky to be where they're at. I think that they might be able to sneak into a wild card, but saying that they're a top 10 team, which is where they're ranked, that's silly.
I mean, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they've really played any good teams, at least that they beat. I mean, Cleveland, Pittsburgh is nothing special. Miami without Tua isn't great. And Green Bay, they're middle of the pack team. You guys lost to Baltimore and Cincy. I mean, those aren't necessarily top tier teams either. But I mean, like you said, with your offense performing the way it is, they're not going anywhere, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Jets offense should have way better stats going up against some of these defenses. With that being said, right behind them, I have the Patriots, and I don't know what to think about the Patriots because they are either really good or really bad.
Well,
game to game.
Bailey Zappi, in my opinion, he's doing really, really well, but I can't say how good he is until defenses are able to adjust. So in the Super Bowl era, Bailey Zappi is the only quarterback to start his first 2 games with a quarterback rating of 100.
Yeah, he's pretty impressive, especially for a guy who's just going to go and sit on the bench because I don't think he's going to take the job, right? But what is going to happen is they're going to get a lot of phone calls for him, and hopefully he goes somewhere to start because I think he's talented, but I don't know if it's another scenario like before with.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think Zappi's going anywhere, at least till the end of the season. But in my opinion, if Mac Jones comes out and he has another game where he's throwing 3 interceptions, he has 1 touchdown like he has done a couple times earlier this year, I think Belichick will switch to Zappi, put him back in because he was doing well. I don't think he's stuck to Mac Jones just because he was the first round pick for the Patriots. I don't think that's how Belichick operates his team. He's going to play the best player.
I think they're both young, and Belichick knows about sticking with a guy for confidence reasons. Otherwise, you turn into the Jets, where they lose all their confidence and then they just become terrible. Belichick stood by Tom Brady in the early years when Tom Brady wasn't playing well. He wasn't always a good player. So I think if the right price is there, they're going to let one of them go. But I can't see Mac Jones being the one to go. He had very few bad games.
No,
And
I don't think either of them go.
and even Mitch Trubisky can look competent, like we
Yeah.
saw this week. With that being said, I don't think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a good team. And I have them ranked 5. They lost to Green Bay, Kansas City, and Pittsburgh. They beat Dallas, the Saints, and Atlanta. I don't think they're a good team.
Not
I
right
have them
now.
ranked 5 because they're statistically
You have them
12th.
fifth?
I have them 5th.
I have them 14th.
I think that's closer where they should be. That's why I brought them up. I don't think Tampa Bay Buccaneers are. I think they're just as likely to miss the playoffs as the Jets. So, are the Eagles the best team in the league?
Yeah. They've had a couple close ones, to some lower level teams like Jacksonville, but they still came out on top and they're able to pull out a win in close situations.
Yeah, they haven't won really good games. Dallas, Arizona, I guess. Minnesota, I guess. But the quality of wins aren't quite there to be that far away. I think the number 1, the number 2, the number 3 are all really close.
Well, who's your 1, 2, 3?
The Bills, the Vikings, and the Eagles.
Okay, I got the Eagles, Bills, Vikings.
Yeah, that's how I have it. The Eagles, Bills, Vikings. I think the Bills and the Vikings are right next to the Eagles just on the quality of wins.
Yeah.
The Vikings are 3rd because I think they're a low quality wins. But the Bills, they beat the Rams. They beat Baltimore. They beat KC. Like, those are some quality wins. Even though they don't have 6 wins, they only have 5.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty close.